Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Jefferson County Quorum Court meeting, January 8, 2023 at 5:30. Before I get started and we call roll, I want to welcome two members to the court, Ms. Williams and Mr. Franklin. I want to thank you for your service, and I appreciate this opportunity and hope we get a chance to work diligently and work for the county, doing what's best for the county. So I want to welcome you aboard. Next, we'll have prayer, and if you don't mind, Justice Adams, would you lead us in the word of prayer?
Bow your head. Heavenly Father, we come first of all giving you praise, glory, and honor. Thank you, so for this another year that you have allowed all of us to see. And we ask you to just begin to conduct this county business in January 1, that we might continue, Lord, to just do your will, stay in your way, and do your word. And then we'll be so mindful to give you the praise, the glory, and all the honor. It's in Christ Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Adams.
Here.
A.G.
Here.
Byrd.
Present.
Carroll. Dumas. Here. Franklin. Gaddy. Here. Hardin.
Here.
Holcomb.
Here.
Jackson. Here. Patricia Johnson.
Here.
Reginald Johnson.
Here.
Margaret Williams.
Here.
Next we'll have the treasurer's report. Ms. Venetia Goodwin.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Is this on? I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, did you laugh at me? I thought you were laughing. It was a short thing. Okay, good evening. I'm going to go over the December financials with you, December 2022. We had a balance brought forward on December 1st, $25,108,374.08. We had revenues for the month of December, $15,371,158.08. Expenditures for the month of December, $19,537,964.85. Giving us an ending balance on December 31st, $20,921,567.31. We're ending the 22 year with a strong financial balance. Our county general balance was only about $105,000 off from the prior year ending. So we did really good for 2022, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer. Next, we'll have the reading and disposition of the minutes.
Judge, I move we approve these as submitted.
A motion has been made and properly second. Any questions? All in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Next, we will receive the report of the committees. We will start with Public Safety, Justice Roy Agee.
Judge, we had two items. Both of them was voted to be passed on to the Finance Committee with the due pass. That ends our report.
Thank you, Justice Agee. Next, we'll have the Human Resource Committee, and that's Justice Danny Holcomb.
We had one item, emergency ordinance, that came through our committee. There was one addendum to that mentioned filling the position for the state and the national level for representatives from the Quorum Court. That did pass, due pass to the full court.
Okay, thank you, Justice Holcomb. Next, we'll have the Finance Committee, and that's Justice Ted Harden.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, we had two items came to us from Public Safety with a due pass recommendation. We have one item that came to the Finance Committee direct. All three were passed on to the full court with a due pass recommendation. Concludes my report.
Thank you, Justice Harden. Next, we have unfinished business. Seeing that there is none, do we have any comments or questions from the public on the business before us? Being there is none, we will move into new business.
Judge, I move we suspend the rules and have the reading of the minutes by title only, move to third reading where applicable.
What's your point, Justice Carroll?
If you get ready to do the minutes, that's fine. I come after the minutes.
Okay, go ahead, Justice.
I just said that I move we suspend the rules and have the reading by title only and move to third reading where applicable.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. Any questions? All in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. That motion carries. Justice Carroll, what's your point of privilege?
Yes, sir. I wanted to read my statement. If I could, please, sir. Thank you for recognizing that personal privilege motion. I, like millions of Americans, have been watching the stalemate in the U.S. Congress on CNN and Fox News. I found it to be interesting, informative, entertaining, but mostly disheartening. CNN and Fox reporters started reporting this story from two different perspectives. After about the fifth or sixth vote, they began to talk more about what the world's view of the inner workings of the United States government looked like. They talked more about what they thought was best for America, and they even talked about what the opinions of the voters might be as they observed Congress. And that the current situation that they were experiencing in Congress with the multiple votes and the confusion and the agitation is a direct result of the many of them who were elected officials at the time ignoring the destructive, deceitful, dictatorial behavior and policies of former President Donald Trump. It is now clear to many of them who blindly supported and turned a deaf ear for fear of reprisals that they didn't come forward about the January 6th incident that President Donald Trump was involved in. I hope at the end of our meeting this evening that the reasons behind our quiet will not bring personal shame or the end of real democracy in the Jefferson County Quorum Court. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Carroll. That was improper use of the point of personal privilege. Members, please refrain from,
I challenge the chair on that.
members, please refrain from
I challenge the
personal.
chair on improper use, that ruling of improper use. It was a point of personal privilege.
It was a point of personal privilege, and point of personal privilege that should be direct and also directed toward the what we have at hand.
No, sir,
That was
that's not
not-
a point of personal privilege is.
Justice Carroll, that's I
Ask your
overruled.
attorney.
I
Ask your
overruled.
attorney.
The attorney is not here, and I rule against that, so we will move on. Madam Secretary.
An emergency ordinance establish and adopting procedures for the Jefferson County Quorum Court at all regular and special meetings of the Quorum Court of Jefferson County, Arkansas for years 2023 and 2024.
Move for the adoption.
Motion has been made and properly second. Any questions?
Yeah. So I did what you said about getting a procedure book, and I have a question about the emergency ordinance, because it says that the emergency ordinance can be enacted for public emergencies affecting life, health, safety, or property of people. So should this be?
Justice Johnson, I'm not being rude, but I'm not here to debate or answer any questions. We're here to either vote it up, vote it down, table it, and whatever your pleasure is. Mr. Franklin.
My first time I don't think it's working. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, screen.
Well, if that's the case, then I'd like to entertain a substitute motion to send this piece of legislation back to the committee level where the JPs may have proper time to deliberate on it and get their particular input. But in sending it back to committee, I would actually like to send it back to the proper committee, which would be the Judicial Committee, if I can get a second for that.
We have a standing motion on the floor that's been set properly second, and then we have a substitute motion. The motion on the floor is the standing motion. So what's your pleasure?
Point of reference, could you go ahead and just restate the actual motion that's on the floor?
The actual motion on the floor, Madam Secretary, would you read the motion that's on the floor?
An emergency ordinance establishing and adopting procedures for Jefferson County Quorum Court at all regular and special meetings of the Quorum Court for Jefferson County, Arkansas for years 2023 and 2024.
Well, quick point of order, not the actual ordinance. I'm asking the motion that's on the floor to make sure the JPs are clear about the actual motion that we're about to vote on.
Justices, if you would, please raise your hand to be recognized before you speak. If we're going to do things proper and in order, let's do it in proper and in order. So please be recognized by the chair before speaking. Justice Carroll.
Yes, Judge, I want to call for a point of order. I believe we did have an original motion on the floor. Justice Franklin did a substitute motion that got a second. If I'm correct, Robert's Rules of Order, Arkansas, County Guide, etc. A substitute motion takes precedent on the floor.
Justice Carroll, you are correct. What's your pleasure? You may either vote it up, vote it down, or table it. The chair does not participate in any debate. So, what's your pleasure? Justice.
Once again, we're asking for clarification. What I'm asking the county judge to do is restate the actual motion that we're voting on, not the ordinance, the actual motion, the action that we're taking on this particular legislation, so that all JPs will be clear on what we're voting on at this particular moment.
The motion was made by. Okay. And second by Johnson. Okay, the motion was made by you. State your motion.
The motion that we're proposing right now is to send this particular ordinance back to the committee level for deliberation by the JPs, and we'll be sending it back to the correct committee, which would be the actual judicial committee, which is the committee it should have been in the first place. So if anyone has any comments or anything about it at that time, we'll be back at the committee level where it can be discussed properly.
Judge, I call the question.
Justin,
I move to call the question.
do we have a second?
So this is what we're doing, so we're voting on,
This is the amendment.
okay, so we're gonna call it.
Well, he called the question, it has to be second. Motion has been made and second. By show of hands or by roll call vote, Madam Secretary,
Adams,
Point of order.
we are,
They don't know what they're voting on.
he's, again, he has entered a substitute
That's not what he voted.
motion.
That's not what you're voting on. You're voting on to call the question. That's what's at hand. He had to call a question. He got a second. We're voting on calling the question. Unless he wants to withdraw it, but that's what we are.
Okay. You're absolutely correct, Mr. Franklin. We're voting on the call to question. As to vote on the call to question, to go ahead and vote. So, is anybody
Judge.
clear? We're voting on the call to question, for us to go ahead and vote.
Point of information, Judge. Point of information.
We have a vote by roll call. Will you please call the vote?
Adams,
So we're voting on what now?
We're voting on the question that is to proceed with a vote on the question, on the motion that was on the floor.
so basically no more interruptions.
No, basically, no more interruption. It is no more debate. It's time to vote.
On the original motion or on what?
No, on the substitute motion.
Substitute motion.
No, it's on the substitute motion. So by roll call,
Still don't think they understand.
if you want to substitute, go with the substitute motion, you can vote. But again, I'm not in the debate part of it, so. Go ahead.
He still don't know what it was.
Point of order, Judge. Information, Judge. Point of information.
They still don't know.
Point of information, Judge.
What's your point?
Would you please clarify that what calling for the ending, the calling of the question will actually do?
Calling of the question ends the debate. It brings it to a vote. So that means no more discussion. Call the question calls for the vote.
Right.
Not really.
Call the roll.
Adams,
Waiting on you. I know waiting on me. I waited on them.
You voting on calling the question. That's what we're voting on. Call the question, whether we end in debate to go back to vote on the substitute motion.
Y'all got me. This is on your side.
No, this is on Justice Hart's motion.
It is just simply to vote to call the motion to end debate.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Okay.
Okay.
AG,
Inquiry, Judge.
The vote has already started.
Yeah.
Let's-
Byrd,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Dumas,
Yes.
Franklin,
Yes.
Gaddy,
Yes.
Harding,
Yes.
Holcomb,
Yes.
Jackson, Johnson,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Patricia Johnson,
Yeah.
Reginald Johnson,
Yes.
Margaret Williams.
Here. Yes.
I
appreciate it. I'm trying to learn something.
Okay. You voted to end debate. You voted to call the question. All right. No more debate. Now, to the motion. The substitute motion.
Send it back to committee.
So, by roll call.
Judge, would you repeat what it is, the second motion?
Okay,
Just so we'll all know that it's a substitute motion.
the substitute motion is Mr. Franklin wants to send it back to committee and place it under another committee that he feels that it should have been in that committee, and to disregard the original motion. What's your pleasure?
Okay.
Adams,
Yes.
AG,
No.
Byrd,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Dumas,
Yes.
Franklin,
Yes.
Gaddy. Yes. Harden,
No.
Holcomb,
No.
Jackson,
Yes.
Patricia Johnson,
No.
Reginald Johnson,
Yes.
Margaret Williams.
Yes.
Nine, four.
9-4. Substitute motion passes. Madam Secretary, next item.
An appropriation ordinance to provide an appropriation to fund 1805 sales tax public safety.
Move to adoption.
Motion has been made and properly second. Any questions? All in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Madam Secretary?
An appropriation ordinance to provide an appropriation to fund 3508 organized crime and transfer fund to 1,000 county general sheriff.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. Any questions? All in favor respond by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Madam Secretary?
An appropriation ordinance to provide an appropriation to fund 3008 county library. So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. Any questions? All in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we'll have the announcements.
Judge, I have a point of information, if I could ask you. The vote that we took was whether or not we called the question, but we didn't vote on whether or not, then we go back to the question, which was the motion that,
Yes, it is.
did we vote on that also?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, all
voted on
right,
that.
we voted, I just wanted to
So next, we'll
clarify.
have the announcements. Yes.
The vote was to send the procedural documents back to the judicial committee. My point of clarification is, does this not also include the list of committees as well as the dates and time of our meeting?
Yes.
Repeat that, Justice Carroll.
The procedural ordinance,
Yes.
does it not include the name of the committees for the Quorum Court as
Yes.
well as the meeting dates?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Justice Carroll. We have two new justices. There were talk about the audit booklet. Have you received your audit booklets for 2021, 2022? The 2021 should be on the web, or yeah, 2021 is on our website at jeffersoncountyar.gov. Have you not received it? Have you received a copy of it?
No.
Would you give them a copy of it? You give both of them a copy of it? Yes.
Is that what you gave out when I was on Zoom, I think?
Yeah, you on Zoom. Did you get one? You didn't get yours?
No, sir.
Okay, did they mail it to you? They should have mailed it to you. Yeah, the green one. Did everybody else get theirs? Okay. Did everybody, okay, did everybody read theirs? Okay, so you did get it and read it. Okay, Justice Carroll?
I could be mistaken, but I thought the document that you passed out previously only contained one item.
No, it was, it contained the whole, for the whole county.
I know for the whole county, but I thought it only contained 1 year, 1 year's audit report, and that was 2020. I didn't bring
No,
21.
no, it was 2021. Okay. So everyone received it. Are there any questions about it?
Is it 2 or 1? 2020, 2021?
It's 2021. 2020 is listed on our website. So if you don't have it, it's also been recognized in the paper, the findings, all of those things. So if you don't have it, you can get it off the website, or we will, my office will present a copy for you. Okay? All right.
One last thing, if I may, Judge, just a point of clarity. Earlier in the meeting, Justice Carroll, he asked for a point of personal privilege, and, you know, we tend to, I guess you can say, police our own when something's right or not right for clarification purposes, because I wouldn't want him to be accused of abusing point of privilege or any point of anything. But in a quick Google search with me brushing up on Robert Rules of Order, it says, often a member may wish to speak to the members of his or her chamber on a matter not directly related to floor debate. The member may ask the presiding officer for a point of personal privilege. If a point of personal privilege is granted, the member may address the chamber on any topic for up to 10 minutes. So, and to your point of personal privilege, it was correct. So.
Thank you, Justice, Mr. Franklin. I still beg to differ, but we have our opinion. Now, without further ado, with former Justice Glenda Daniels, please come forward. Justice Daniels, we appreciate the service that you have given to Jefferson County. We wanted to recognize your service, recognize your dedication to Jefferson County, and recognize the work that you have done. And this reads, Justice Glenda Daniels, in appreciation of your years of dedicated service, devotion, and commitment to the Quorum Court and the citizens of Jefferson County, this plaque is presented by Judge Gerald Robinson in the Quorum Court, December 20. It should have been December 21st, 2022, but we're presented on this date. So again, thank you for your service. With former Justice Jimmy Fisher, butter knife, come up please.
For your applause, please.
Justice Fisher, your service to Jefferson County is duly noted. You have been a steward of taking care of this county for a number of years. We wanted to just bring this and give you a token of appreciation. You will be surely missed, as well as Justice Daniels, so we want to give you this, and it says Justice Jimmy Fisher Sr. In appreciation of your years of dedicated service, devotion, and commitment to Quorum Court and the citizens of Jefferson County, presented by Judge Gerald Robinson and the Quorum Court. We thank you, and we wish you well, and both of you well in both your endeavors, and I hope that your service is not over. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Give me a couple.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You gonna hide it?
I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Judge, one final point. I will call that judicial committee meeting. I'll give the youth a call time so that justice can be notified, and we will allow all justice to participate in that meeting. But I'll give the your office to schedule it.
Thank you, Justice Garrett.
Judge, if I may,
Yes.
on February the 7th, which will be our next regularly scheduled committee meeting, those JPs that wish to, we're going to meet with the coroner, Ched Kelly, at his office at 3:30 that afternoon prior to our regular committee meeting that night. And if you'll notify the press.
Chad doesn't do well with white people, you know that.
He's agreed to see us, though. I hope he doesn't split our throats while we're there.
Okay, I need a second for adjournment. Okay. Did you second? Meeting adjourned.
All right, have a good
We can do it essentially next month.